Hey guys, this is Matt for Creative, and today we're taking a look again at the iPhone 15 Pro Max. This one I've had for about 3 weeks now, and I'm just going to go over a little bit of how I've been using it, what I like, what I don't like. No script on this, so I'm just literally going to be pulling from my experiences to show you exactly what I like about this phone and how I've been using this. So I've had this for 3 weeks. This beginning tomorrow, which this video will be released on Friday. I'm recording this on Thursday. But I've really liked this phone. Now, the phone, I've been using it with a case, and funny enough, again, I think I mentioned this before, this is an iPhone 14 Pro Max's case, but because it has a lip around it, it actually fits perfectly for this phone, although there's a little bit of a give on the side because the 14 Pro Max is bigger than the 15 Pro Max. But this thing just works. Like this case works really well. I got the fine woven case. You may have seen the video that I put out. I hate that case. I don't like that case. I love the leather 14 Pro Max case, but unfortunately Apple moved away from leather, so I'm going to have to find another option once I get like a true case for this. Now, I am getting other cases which I'll be making videos of, and you're going to like these cases too. But the one thing is, for those cases, unfortunately no leather option. That leather option is something that's always a staple for every phone that I possibly get. But yeah, tune in for that one later. But for this, the case does perfectly well. Just in case you were wondering if a 14 Pro Max Casetify case works, it does. But for example, the leather 14 Pro case does not work because there's not a lip to keep it inside. I kind of have to peel this phone out and keep it like this. For me, I kind of wanted to have this phone with no case. I'm not going to do that. I would say the 14 Pro Max, and this may be a comparison between the two because I use two phones at once, so I'm always using one or the other. Without a case, that phone is more grippy in my hand, at least. This phone, it feels a little bit slippery. That back is always going to be slippery to my hands, but the side always feels like it could slide out. With that stainless steel for the 14 Pro Max, it slid, but every once in a while, the oils of my hand kind of just caught it, and it just feels like it was more secure. Now, that just might be me, because some people say that aluminum is also kind of sticky for them, but for me, the aluminum just always feels like it may slide out of my hand as well. So titanium, aluminum didn't quite work, but that polished stainless steel really does feel like a grippier phone. And also, because of what I saw originally, now it may be coming to be different, but definitely for dropping, this one had the worst drop reception from the past few phones compared to the ones with the stainless steel bands. Again, I reference everything Apple Pro for the first time, or I think first or second drop, cracked the phone, whereas it took much longer for a stainless steel banded phone to actually crack. I do like that the screen is a little bit closer now. They've shrunken the phone because the bezel is a little bit smaller. There is some issue though when I'm watching and recording video like this. I tend to put my hand over this like this, and every once in a while my hand, I kind of generally, do you see how it's like not on the band, it's held like this, and I've just done this instinctively. It's not that I knew that in older phones I was not getting in my own way with this, but there are some times when I'm holding it like this just naturally, where the inside of my finger is touching the screen, it does register that as a touch in some way. I always thought that there was a reason for the bezel size of the iPhone 14 Pro Max and the other phones of that generation, but I think Apple, like, I would love a full screen phone, to have a phone that really doesn't have anything. What's that noise? Oh, that's the cats. That doesn't have any bezel at all, but I think bezel is still a requirement, because if you're holding the phone like this, I want you to see how close my finger is to the bezel. you can see that it's just barely there. With another type of phone, it may, with a phone with less bezel, it may come to a point where it encroaches on the screen and just needs better, like at the very corner finger rejection. But then again, that limits the edges of the screen anyway. I don't know. At a certain point, I would love a full screen, but I think for now, bezels do have a reason to exist. It's not just that we can't do it. I think it requires a bezel, always. I like the size of this phone. I like the weight of this phone. When I'm at home, I take it out of the case. I kind of use it. It's been great. It does kind of get all fingerprinty, so that's just kind of a thing, that it always feels like a not premium version compared to the iPhone 14 Pro Max, which has that stainless steel band. That always looked like a premium phone that happened to get dirty and fingerprinty, where this one just feels like a phone that happens to get fingerprinty. For the action button, I actually launched the, I have a Super 73 S2, which right now is in the shop for a flat tire, but I mapped the action button to launch the app. And it goes into the app. Now I know that there may be a way where I could action it to change the class level to a certain number if I really wanted to, but at least I don't have to like go inside, open the phone, then open the app. The action button really has been one of those things where it's literally press and it's going right into that app. I've also kind of like mapped other shortcuts onto the front of my phone just for ease of use, just in case it's not the action button. So I map it to Instagram. I map another one of these to this kind of film, like fake Fuji film emulator, which I think is pretty cool. But it's just simple things. I never really used shortcuts until the action button kind of like gave me the opportunity to do so. And I've created more shortcuts. I may take time to create more intricate shortcuts to do certain things, but for now, that's what I use the action button for, and it does a really good job at just easing my way into using my bike. Super 73, this is a random thing, but Super 73 have a locking feature on the bike. Please do that. That would actually really help everybody. But for the phone, it's just been great. It tends to be when I get a new iPhone every year that I stop bringing out cameras like this for a little bit. And then sometimes I just go back in there because I require certain things. This is a time where I'm not bringing these cameras as much as I was, and I don't feel the need because with 48 megapixels on this, and of course last year's phone, it has it too, it's pretty crisp in the main camera. That 5x zoom is really working out for me. I have not yet gone to a sporting, wait, have I? No, the last concert I went to, I still had the 14 Pro Max as my primary, and I used the 3x zoom. I did go to kind of a jazz night where I did record on the 5x zoom, and that did very well. But what I'm looking forward to is bringing this phone with me to Madison Square Garden for a Knicks preseason game on Saturday. I'm going to record footage. I'm not high up. It's a preseason game, so prices are cheaper. So I got in the, I think the 100 section or the single digit section. So I'm going to give it a try, see how like it looks, because I usually use, I think, the Sony HX99, which has a 720 equivalent millimeter zoom, and that thing is crazy. But I'm going to go with just this and record in 5x, and even I think, what does the video do again? It's 5x, up to 15 times for video, and up to 25 for photo. So I'm going to give these a try here and see how they go. Now I do believe that the 5x and the ultra wide, those would be not 48 megapixels. That's still 12, isn't it? Isn't it, or is it the entire sensor? Regardless, I know that when I use the zoom, or if I use the ultra wide, the picture quality is reduced. I know that when I use that main camera, I can pinch and zoom in, and I can see detail, so many more details than I ever thought I could. But when I do use the 5x and the ultra wide, it does have kind of like, yeah, it's degraded quality. Still great, but degraded quality. I really like to pixel peep as much as I possibly can. I've used the action mode while taking like some kind of like walks, and the stabilization is good. I find that dedicated GoPros and action cameras, they do a better job at kind of just like ultra wide stabilization. But for this, it does a good stabilization. Whenever you launch the action mode in video, it automatically goes to the ultra wide, and I kind of go back to the single sensor just so I can kind of get more detail, I believe, in it. And I like the quality of that primary lens and sensor a lot better than the other two. But the other two are getting better. But I know that next year it's probably going to be like, okay, now we have 48 megapixels on all the cameras. It's just going to be a matter of time before I believe it's brought onto everything. But this phone has been great. It had some battery issues before, had some heating issues before. It did get a little hot last night, just kind of photo editing and just kind of looking at things. That's really the only issue that I've had since, but that was without a case. So it did get warm, but not hot. Actually got a little bit hot. I never record the temperature of this, but for me, it just got a little bit warm. But this phone has been great. There are times when I really wish that I could have gone down to the iPhone 15 Pro to had literally the smallest phone since the iPhone 13 mini, because I love small phones. Because don't forget, the iPhone 15 Pro is a slightly smaller body than the 15 regular, or even like the 14 regular, or the 14 Pro, because just that reduction in bezel size would make that a slightly smaller phone, as this has become a slightly smaller phone than the previous generation. I like it. I just really wanted the 5x zoom. That's it. If that 5x zoom had been accessible in the 15 Pro, I would have got the 15 Pro, regardless of the better battery life or not. I'm just kind of, that's where I am right now. And again, if they still made a mini phone, I would have got the mini phone. I did trade in a couple of my old iPhone 12 minis to get this, to kind of cut down the price. But I kept that 13 mini. I'm going to keep that one forever. That's in that gorgeous product red. I love that phone forever. And I'm going to keep that as like a backup just in case something happens with this. For me, I have not got Apple Care Plus, but I still have time, and if you get the phone, you have 60 days within to make that decision. I'm still in like 40 days left, so nothing's happened to this yet. I can still get that, and I still can get that drop protection, because the price of replacing that back screen has gone down to $199, and I believe that's without Apple Care Plus. With Apple Care Plus, of course, it's going to be cheaper. I think it's $29 or something, but I think if this is going to be my primary for the next 2 years, that's just, I think it's smart to get Apple Care Plus, at least for me, and if you can afford it, because of the price of this phone. And again, I did get a 512 gigabyte model, not the 1 terabyte. I just don't see myself using that. I use Google Photos and I use iCloud. I can also now really use small SSDs and connect it with the USB port. That USB port, so far so good. I like that I can use these different peripherals. I like that if I wanted to, I could literally plug in the receiver of this mic that I'm using here directly in this. I know I could do that before, but now it's USB-C. Everything is USB-C. It's kind of just like consistently charging. It's just been working out for me. I think this works out. I really like this phone. It's been the necessary upgrade for me, and yeah, having it for almost a month, it feels normal. I just need to find a case that really works for me. But again, you're going to be seeing some options here soon, and I think you will like them. Anyway, guys, if you have any comments or questions, put in the comment section below. I just hit a pen. Whoops. Don't forget, I'm on Instagram and Threads at m8b9. You can email me at creativenyc2023@gmail.com. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you next time.